Why do things get weird whenever we get close? Like the sore eyes, an eyesore to a ghost. Counted all the voyeurs in your room. They're just flies simply sent to watch over you. They're watching your...
Hey, thanks. You are once again listening to the Middle-Aged and Mediocre podcast. We know the name doesn't make sense, and if you're okay with it, we're okay with it.
I mean, it makes sense. We're mediocre.
In middle-aged, but we just talk about ghosts.
Yeah.
Well, not even ghosts. Eventually we'll get to goat ghosts.
Yeah.
We'll mostly talk about death.
Murder.
But hey, that was Blabbermouth by the Jerks that you listened to right before this episode. And they are a band from Charleston. One of the dudes in the band is a wrestler.
Yep.
Kirk Blackman. But yeah, it's a great EP. You've been listening to it a lot, right?
That's all I have, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I should say I'm Cash.
Oh, I'm Joel.
Yeah. So, yeah, they got a 6-song EP out right now called
16 minutes.
First Day.
Yeah.
If you want it, go to jerkstheband.bandcamp.com.
I think it's like $5.
Yeah, it's I don't even know. I think you can. Yeah,
I got it on Spotify, but I did see where you can.
Yeah, yesterday I went and bought it off Bandcamp. Bandcamp was giving all of the money to the actual band.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like they weren't taking a portion of it.
I didn't do that. I'm sorry. But I've been spreading the word. I've been trying to spread the good word of the Jerks. I like the EP a lot, and it's.
Yeah, I think Bandcamp ought to do that like while this is all happening.
Yeah.
Give people a chance to make some money. So that's why I've been hesitant to like buy. I was gonna buy some T-shirts from like people I know, their merch.
Yeah.
But those sites usually take so much of the. Like if all the sites would start.
You need to look for like the people's PayPal themselves and see if you can go through that way or something.
Yeah. So yeah, shit's crazy.
Shit is crazy.
I mean, I don't want to say that I was right.
Yeah.
To know this was more than just the flu,
just...
but I knew that it was more than I was right. Yeah, shit's nuts. We may be on a shutdown soon.
Yeah, here in about an hour, the governor of West Virginia is going to be making an announcement. He's probably going to wait for us to finish recording.
It'd be kind of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll call him when we're done here and be like, hey, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
But yes, we might need to record like 15 episodes tonight.
Cool.
Just bank them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Can you just get my responses recorded? Cool. Yep.
Well, I have that soundboard.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The laugh. That's all you need.
But yeah, we are still bringing you quality murder content.
Well.
So
murder content.
I don't know about quality.
I do. It's not there. No,
it's not there.
It is. It's good times.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much death you can hear about, from a virus. We want to talk about death the old
in a fun
way.
In a fun way.
Right, in a fun, humorous way.
Let's make fun of these people for dying.
We do that sometimes. We only if like they was in like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Or like the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, that's fair game.
Or they're really dumb.
Or they try to fight an emu.
Yeah.
And then they deserve whatever they get, even though they didn't die.
You can't really shoot an emu. It's hard.
No, history's proven that.
Man, yep.
Tonight's story is going to be from the early 80s.
Okay. 1980s?
The 1980s, yeah. Right. So this is, I think, the
I remember them.
Most current one I've done.
Yeah.
You had the Armored Muse, which took place like early 2000s?
Early 2000, yeah.
Yeah.
2001, 2002, something like that.
Yeah, this would be the most modern day one that I've brought to the table. This story...
I love the 80s.
Right. This story I first heard about from Brooke Ewing.
Yeah.
Like a long, long time ago. I think she was... she's making films and stuff now, but back then I think she was really interested in this crime, and I think she'd even mentioned like she wanted to one day make a documentary or something about it.
Oh wow!
But so I remember her telling me about it then, and I've always been kind of
Intrigued
by it. So
aroused
by it. Nothing to really be aroused by here.
Oh.
So I wanted to do this one. This is going to be about the Keddie Keddie murders that took place. They took place in Keddie, California.
Keddie, California.
California.
Yeah.
So,
sunny California in the 80s.
So, here, you ready?
Yeah.
Get into this one?
I'm ready.
All right. These are also sometimes referred to as the Keddie Cabin Murders.
Okay.
So, but in November of 1980, 36-year-old Sheila Sharp, known as Sue.
I was a year old.
I was not even born yet.
Oh, man.
I'm 3 years away.
That's probably why I was so happy at that point.
Yeah.
Little 1-year-old Joel.
These are the good times. I still have hope.
Yep.
Dreams.
That's change.
She moved her family from a tiny, cramped trailer in Quincy, California, to a much larger 3-bedroom.
The glow up.
Yeah. It was a 3-bedroom. It was cabin 28 in a little resort in Keddie, California. She'd been a Navy wife who'd been stationed around the country. She and her 5 kids had been kicked out of their Connecticut home by her abusive husband, James Sharp, in 1979. So they moved across the United States, visiting family and old neighbors along the way before settling in Quincy, where they rented the trailer her brother had just vacated. Despite Keddie being a rundown, low-rent railroad town long in the decline, the kids had more room in the cabin, and their yard was the forest, stream, and railroad tracks. 5 months later, the Sharps had found a semblance of community in their new home, with the children having made friends among the other residents of the Keddie cabins. On the night of April 11th, 1981, Sue was at home while her 2 youngest sons, Rick and Greg, and their friend Justin Smart, played in Rick and Greg's bedroom. Tina, Sue's youngest daughter, returned home around 10 o'clock that night after an evening of watching television with the neighbors in cabin 27. Sue's oldest son, John, had spent the day in town with his friend Dana Wingate, and the pair was last seen walking along State Route 70. They returned home to cabin 28 later that night, presumably retiring down to John's basement bedroom. The other daughter, Sheila, had went next door when Tina got back from cabin 27. Sheila went over to cabin 27 and hung out the rest of the night.
One daughter
with
at
that
a time.
family. Apparently so. On Sunday morning, April 11th, 1981, Sheila Sharp woke up next door at cabin 27, where she spent the night with the neighbors, the Seabolts.
Yeah.
Which sounds like an XFL team, the Seabolts.
Seabolts.
Having decided to attend church with them that morning, at about 7:45, she went to her cabin to get her Sunday clothes. Upon opening the front door, she saw 3 bodies on the floor.
Oh.
The furthest away covered with a blanket. She also saw a knife on the floor between the doorway and the closet, bent at such an angle she mistook it for an open pocket knife.
Oh, wow.
She ran, screaming, back to the Seabolts. Sheila and Mrs. Seabolt went to the nearest working phone across the street to the landlord's cabin and called the Plumas County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office dispatched a car to the scene. During that time, James Seabolt went over to cabin 28 and saw that the 3 young boys, Greg, Rick, and Justin, were unharmed and in their room still, and he ended up pulling them out of the cabin through the bedroom window. And then James went to the rear of the cabin and went inside the back door, which was left open. And he kind of maybe inadvertently contaminated the crime scene by doing this, but he went inside just to see if there was anyone else alive or whatever. After he went inside and looked around, searching for survivors, he rejoined the others outside. The 3 victims found in the cabin had met a extremely violent end. Their bodies were bound with medical tape and appliance wires. They'd been stabbed, bludgeoned, and strangled to death. Examinations revealed that the victims suffered blows from at least 2 different hammers of varying sizes.
Jesus.
And Sue and John had been stabbed repeatedly. One of the knives used had been bent in half due to the extreme, or bent like she said, like a open pocket knife.
Yeah.
due to the extreme force with which he had been plunged in one of the victims. John's hands were placed on his abdomen and taped really tightly at the wrist with medical tape. His ankles were wrapped twice and tightly knotted with an extension cord, and his throat had been slashed.
And the boys just slept in the
So the whole time,
bedroom, apparently?
there was 3 little boys in the bedroom. Like, imagine a cabin.
Yeah.
They're not giant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dana had also been, that was John's friend he was with. She had been bound with medical tape as well, and she had multiple head injuries and had been strangled to death.
God.
Sue was discovered lying on her side by the living room couch.
Sue's the mom, right?
Sue's the mom.
Okay.
John was her son.
And
Dana
Dana's
was
her
John's
female friend.
No, John's. Yeah. John's friend.
Yeah.
She was nude from the waist down. She'd also been gagged with a blue bandana and her own panties that had been secured on her face and in her mouth with medical tape.
Jeez.
She'd been stabbed in the chest and her throat had been slashed.
So some sort of doctor.
Yes. He knew where to... she had also been bludgeoned with a Daisy 880 rifle, like a little BB gun rifle, that left its imprint on the side of her head.
God.
Her wrists and ankles were bound with medical tape as well, and then 2 rounds of electrical wire. There was also wire that tied her ankles together. Her ankles and wrists were tied so tightly that her legs and knees were drawn towards each other, and she'd been covered with a blanket and sheet that belonged to Tina. Times had been hard in Plumas County, and Sue had to make ends meet with the $250 she received from the Navy, which only covered rent. But she had to, she used food stamps and other social welfare, and then the stipend she received for being enrolled in a federal education program. Sue had been described by her neighbors as a quiet, reserved woman who primarily kept to herself, and an FBI document dated a month after the murders depicted her much the same way as her neighbors had. Quote, she was not a fancy dresser and was best described by casual associates and neighbors as a loner. Sue had one close girlfriend, a neighbor woman with the last name of Meeks. Her only known source of income came from her position as a CETA worker, wherein she was paid to attend school at the Feather River Community College, where she was to learn a business trade. She was described as being a good student who studied hard and obtained good grades, but was also a loner and did not participate in social gatherings, such as coffee breaks and other things that people get together at the school for. She had no other known source of income other than the $250 a month allotment check from the U.S. Navy via her husband. Prior to her death, Sharp had no local criminal record, nor was she known to local authorities. Sue still managed to date with some frequency, and while her romantic ambitions remained unclear, you don't know if she's really looking for a long-term boyfriend or a husband or anything.
I'm just looking for some dick!
Several of her boyfriends simply seemed at odds with her background and temperament. Plumas County is a county of contrasting social and economic classes, a place where the American dream went to die decades ago. So
Dusty
opportunities
Rhodes?
to better oneself are slim to none.
Well, especially you got 5 kids. That's kind of a...
Yeah, so she's got
Shit's hard.
she's got John, Rick, Greg, Sheila, and Tina. So
That's impressive.
all
You
in a little
remembered them all.
cabin.
Are you the dad?
I'm the father of 4 of them. So she didn't really have a lot of eligible suitors that were really worth anything, but she also wasn't very religious, and she didn't really drink, so she would find a lot of men that were one over the other, like very religious or didn't, that would kind of ruin some things. One of her suitors, though, actually had proposed marriage on the very first date, so that was she went ahead and got rid of that one, so she saw red flags, is what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
According to one report of questionable veracity, Sue was in a very abusive relationship with a man shortly before her murder, though. They had witnessed a loud argument in her front yard 6 weeks prior to the murder. Yet another boyfriend was
Sue
killed.
got around?
Yeah, she got around. She dated.
And that's fine.
Hey,
all right, women, more power to you.
It's the 80s, ladies. You do you. You
Be
do
happy.
you.
Yeah.
It's the 80s were the era of strong, powerful women.
Hell yeah, they had the shoulder pads on their little jackets.
Dolly Parton working 9 to 5.
9 to 5. All right, so Sue's been...
What's her name? The comedian? Pamela Poundstone?
That sounds about right.
Wasn't that her name?
Yeah.
She had the big shoulder pads?
Yep.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, so another boyfriend of hers was killed a month after the murders while being chased from a bar by the sheriff's office deputies. It's been claimed that many key persons of interest either dated Sue, had their advances rebuffed by her, or were simply infatuated with her. Her most recent known boyfriend, Daryl, had been introduced to her a week prior to her death, and they spent much of the time with each other in the ensuing days, either at his nearby trailer or at area bars, playing pool and drinking beer. Their last date was 2 days prior to the crime, after which Daryl left Keddie to spend his weekends with his family in Paradise, California.
Okay.
Now, I don't usually trust Daryl.
No.
So, just right off the bat, Daryl...
I don't. Yeah, you said Daryl, and my red flags went
Yeah.
up.
Well, what's going on with Daryl here?
Yeah.
And then once you find out that you mostly spend time with Daryl at a bar or his trailer...
Yeah.
So, anyways. The
They don't
Sharps...
call it derelict for nothing.
That's right. The Sharps' cabin did not show any indication of forced entry. Detectives were able to recover an unidentified fingerprint from a handrail that led to the cabin's back door, though. Detectives also discovered that the telephone had been left off the hook, and the lights had been shut off with all the drapes fully closed. Various weapons were found at the scene, including a table knife, a butcher knife, and a bloody hammer. Well, 2 bloody hammers.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said there was 2 bloody hammers.
Other weapons, including the Daisy rifle, were not recovered. Some evidence, such as a second bloody knife... Oh, so then another bloody knife turned up in a trash bin behind a local Keddie general store. Sheila and the Seabolt family had heard no commotion whatsoever during the night.
How?
But a couple living nearby stated that they were awakened around 1:30 in the morning by what sounded like muffled screams, but couldn't determine where it was coming from. Tina's jacket, shoes, and a shoebox that contained various tools were all missing from the cabin. In interviews, Justin Smart told detectives that he had dreamed of certain details of the murder, only to later confirm that he had actually witnessed it. So at first, whenever they were questioning him, he thought that like stuff that he...
And that was the friend that was staying over with the brothers.
And he was just like a little kid, but at first he was just like things he saw, he thought he just were dreaming them.
Yeah.
But he'd actually witnessed them.
Insane.
Under hypnosis, Justin claimed that he had seen Sue with 2 men, one with a mustache and long hair, and one clean-shaven. Yeah,
fucking Daryl!
It's a Daryl for sure.
Jesus! Oh, he had like a trucker hat on?
Yeah, if I ask you, hey, draw Daryl. Right there.
Yeah, was it... Daryl seems like the guy that was on Beavis and Butthead, the real mean guy, the criminal. Was that guy? That guy's name wasn't Daryl? But that's what I think of Daryl when I think of that guy from the Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, like The Walking Dead's trying to make Daryl be all heroic, but I ain't buying it.
Nope. Nice try, Daryl.
John and Dana then entered the home and began arguing with the men. The argument became violent. The 3 were still alive when Tina entered the room. One of the men took her out the back door before coming back to kill Sue, John, and Dana. This is all under hypnosis, what Justin said he saw. Justin Smart's mother, Marilyn, claimed that she had found a bloody jacket belonging to Tina in her basement, and she had turned it into the police, but no official record of this exists. Marilyn's husband, Martin, also claimed that a claw hammer had gone missing from his home around the time of the murders, but Plumas County Sheriff Doug Thomas later stated that Martin had provided an endless amount of evidence that seemed to be trying to throw any and all suspicions away from him. So he was just constantly...
Yeah. Look at this.
Hey, this is going on, and this, and this.
Yeah.
Several locals and neighbors, including the Seabolt family, recalled seeing an unknown green van parked outside of Cabin 28 around 9 o'clock the night of the murders. Because Tina was believed to have been abducted from the crime scene, her disappearance was initially investigated by the FBI. A grid pattern search of the area covering a 5-mile radius around the cabin was conducted using police canines, but nothing was found. In April...
Couple good boys, though.
Some good boys.
Couple good boys were found.
In April of 1984, 3 years after the slayings occurred, the cranium portion of a human skull and part of a mandible were found near Camp 18 in neighboring Butte County, roughly 100 miles from Keddie, and Cabin 28. Shortly after announcing the discovery of the remains, the Butte County Sheriff's Office received an anonymous phone call identifying the discovery as the remains of Tina. The recording of this call, however, was not discovered until 2013 in the bottom of an evidence box when a deputy had been newly assigned to the case. In June,
I think Tina's disappearance kind of flew over my head. So they had the 3 bodies, and then one of the daughters that was first over at Cabin 27 that went home.
Right, so that was
she's
Tina.
missing.
Yeah, so Tina's missing.
Okay, and they found their jacket in the Smart Boys. Maybe.
That's what Marilyn, Justin's mom, says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Throwing a lot at me. I'm trying to.
Yeah. So the 3 dead in the house were Sue, John, and Dana.
Yeah.
And then Sheila's fine.
Sheila was over at 27.
Yeah, and
the
then
boys were all
Rick
okay.
and Greg are fine. Justin's fine.
And Tina's
missing.
Oh, man.
But she's not now. They found her.
Okay.
So,
in
June of 1984, forensic pathologists would confirm that the remains were Tina Sharp.
She dead.
About 100 miles away is where they found the remains. And as soon as
it's
they
hard
said...
for a skull to walk. I don't know
Well, as soon as they say, hey, we found these remains, an anonymous caller immediately calls in and says, that's Tina.
Huh.
So... near the remains, detectives also found a blue nylon jacket, a blanket, a pair of jeans with a missing back pocket, and an empty medical tape dispenser.
Oh.
The discovery of Tina's remains compounded a case already steeped in mystery. Why was the body of Tina Sharp found so far away from Cabin 28? How could a murder with so much physical evidence remain unsolved? The abundance of loose threads, in conjunction with what appeared to be a substandard investigation, have prompted some to suspect a police cover-up. The first member of law enforcement to arrive that morning, shortly after 8 a.m., was Deputy Hank Clement, who did a quick search of the cabin, confirming the murders. Yep, they're dead.
Good job, Hank. Take the rest of the day off, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
If you don't need me, I'm going to be over there at Daryl's trailer. Daryl's going to be drinking.
At 8:25, Sergeant Jerry Shaver arrived. And Clement, talking with a group of residents in front of Cabin 28, told him there appeared to be a triple murder inside.
All my detective years.
Now I'm guessing here, but I'm pretty sure there's 3 dead bodies in there.
I don't think they died of natural causes.
Don't look natural to me. Don't look natural. After Shaver and Clement entered the front door and reviewed the scene together, Shaver placed Clement on point in front of the cabin. I bet Shaver was also like, you did real good, Clement.
Yeah.
There were 3 dead bodies in here.
Nailed it.
Nailed it, buddy. You go stand out front.
Yeah.
Upon asking the dispatcher to inform Sheriff Sylvester Doug Thomas... Sylvester what? I don't know what
Sylvester
I did there. I don't think I meant to type.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there. Sheriff Doug Thomas and sent out investigators. Shaver began interviewing witnesses. At approximately 8:30 a.m., another detective was called by dispatch and informed of the triple homicide in Keddie. Assistant sheriff, which I did not know was a thing.
Assistant
to the sheriff.
Assistant to the regional sheriff.
Ken Shanks was informed of the murders as well. So everyone's been informed.
Yep. Hey, there's some murders down here.
At 8:45 a.m., Don Davis, Sue's brother, arrived and met with Shaver in front of the cabin. Don gave Shaver details on Sue and the family about her pending divorce and move from Connecticut. Davis also detailed how Sue's estranged husband, Jim, hadn't visited the family since November of '79, and how Sue refused to give Jim the new address or phone number after moving to Keddie. So she was, he'd been abusive. She was clearly worried, afraid of him. He supplied the names and ages of Sue's kids, then mentioned Sheila's baby, giving the baby's father's name and addressing an address, and mentioned he hung around the gaming arcade in East Quincy. When Shanks and Stoy, great detective names,
Shanks and Stoy,
arrived at 9:30 a.m., Clement was again inside Cabin 28 and came out to greet them.
Hey, there's 3 dead bodies.
Clement, I thought you were supposed to be outside. After a briefing from Shaver and Clement, Detective Stoy and Shanks began photographing the crime scene and collecting evidence. Shaver returned to interviewing witnesses in the cabin's picket fence yard, while Clement was dispatched to do a cursory house-by-house welfare check of the area. The sheriff's office went on investigating the crime scene for several days, and while all of the crime scene reports aren't available, it's very clear that many reports don't match each other, and most can't even get the same facts straight. And it's very clear that Stoy's report was written to cover both his and Shanks's account of events. So he just wrote it for both of them.
Yeah.
And his report clearly seems to be doctored to indicate that the Plumas County Sheriff's Office immediately understood that Tina Sharp was missing. Something that the actual evidence of the case shows that they didn't realize for hours.
Wow.
They didn't even know about her.
They're just so caught up in...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then somebody went back with the report and been like, oh, no, we knew.
Actually.
In 2004, Cabin 28 was demolished along with several other condemned buildings on the grounds. Some have theories that the mob, gang, or police connections were responsible for the bungling of the case and the destruction of the property. But without actual facts, it's hard to know whether incompetence, conspiracy, or mere bad luck have left the Keddie murders unsolved. So, while this was happening, while the investigation was happening, the Department of Justice had a helicopter flying over, taking pictures from above and doing all this shit. And two of the special agents from the Department of Justice, who were supposedly on that helicopter, who would have been able to see everything and know everything going on, they ended up being later found to be dirty cops, basically.
Yeah.
They were involved with, gang-related shit. So, a lot of people say, and this has never been proven, but a lot of people say that as soon as the helicopter came over top of everything, these two mafia guys show up to the crime scene and are immediately going around to everyone that could be a potential witness and talking to them. And the cops and detectives there aren't bothering them at all. But they're they were two apparently very well-known mafia guys.
Yeah.
And they were going around and just basically it seemed like instructing people.
Intimidating, maybe.
Right. So none of that's ever been confirmed. Huh. But the two special agents that were thought to be on the helicopter, ended up finding, it was found out later that their ties they had to the mafia were with the two guys that would have been on the grounds doing this. So it was just this weird little...
Yeah, why were those guys there?
So the reason that might be true is because in 2008, Marilyn Smart, Justin's mom, claimed in a documentary that was being made about the murders that she suspected her husband, Martin, and his friend John Bobaday were responsible for the murders of Sue, John, Dana, and Tina. She claimed that on the evening of the murders, she had left Martin and Bo at a local bar around 11 p.m. and returned home to go to bed. Around 2 a.m., she stated that she woke to find the two men burning an unknown item in a wood stove. She alleged that Martin hated John Sharp with a passion and hated Sue equally. In the same documentary, Sheriff Doug Thomas stated that Martin had successfully passed the polygraph exam, but of course, everybody kind of knows those are possibly dog shit.
Yeah.
It was later confirmed that Martin was close with the sheriff of Plumas County at the time, despite the fact that both Martin and Bo had criminal records. Bo had been in prison for bank robbery, and Martin, I don't know what he had a criminal record for, but he had been in Vietnam, I believe, and had PTSD.
Yeah. And
he met Bo at a VA hospital.
So a couple of possible violent fellows.
Right.
Violence in their past.
Martin Smart died of cancer in June 2000, and Bo
RIP.
died in Chicago in 1988. Bo, however, was a enforcer and hitman for mobs in both Chicago and Vegas.
And there's mob guys there.
And some people say that two pretty well-known mob guys showed up. So, in November 2016, the true crime show People Magazine Investigates released an episode dedicated to re-examining the Cabin murders, and several new pieces of evidence and information came to light, which might actually help crack the cold case. According to the episode, Smart's anger towards Sue was for interfering in his marriage, and that was a pretty viable motive for the killings. Sue was supposedly somewhat friendly with Marilyn, and had
probably this is what I've been through.
Well, since Sue had some experience in the abusive, People magazine discovered that shortly after the murders, Martin had left Keddie and drove out to Reno, Nevada, and had sent a letter to his wife, Marilyn, which was only discovered after the case was reopened in 2013. In it, he states, I've paid the price of your love, and now that I've bought it with 4 people's lives, you tell me we are through? Great. What else do you want? Marilyn claims she never received the letter and was only made aware of it after the murders by the authorities, but she did confirm that it was in Smart's handwriting. Even more potentially incriminating is a therapist in Reno, Nevada, to whom Smart allegedly confessed the murders to, admitting that he had murdered Sue and Tina, but that he didn't have anything to do with the boys. John and, or I guess Dana would have been.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dana was a girl or not now that I think about it.
Yeah, Dana Carvey. Yeah. Could be either one.
He allegedly told the counselor that Tina had only been killed because she had witnessed the whole thing and she could have identified them.
Yeah.
But then why would they take her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The fucker.
In April 2000.
Sorry.
In April 2018, Plumas County Special Investigator Mike Gamberg, who turns out was friend when he was younger, like when this was, he would have been like the same age as one of the kids when he was younger. He was their friend, so like he knew the whole family. He knew all of it. He stated that DNA evidence recovered from a piece of tape at the crime scene matched a known living suspect, but this was just 2 years ago. Like it's still under, so they don't release that name. Gamberg, who leads the current investigation, is baffled by the inconsistencies. It's not what was done, he told the Sacramento Bee, in reference to the many flaws of the original investigation. It's what wasn't done. He says that you could take someone just coming out of the academy and they'd have done a better job on this investigation. Gamberg learned of a man who, while using a metal detector, had found a hammer in a pond near the Keddie property, and the steel, blue-handled claw hammer exactly matched the description of the hammer that Marty told investigators he'd lost. It's now being tested for DNA and blood residue. Gamberg also found in the investigation's files an apparently unopened envelope with a recording of the 911 call. When Tina's remains were first found in 1984, on the 3rd anniversary of the murders, her skull was unidentified. But that anonymous 911 caller said it was Tina's before the medical examiner confirmed it through dental records.
And if it's 3 years later, why does she have the medical tape dispenser with her? And like,
right? Well, because it almost seems like they had kept they'd killed her, and like just kept everything somewhere, and then decided to get rid of it. Almost, it's kind of what it.
Tried to move it 100 miles away.
Or they took her somewhere, that far away, killed her.
But then why call and or whoever did the call?
Gamberg says, it's my feeling that either he was told or he was involved in some way. They're using the tape now to create voice comparisons with audio of earlier suspects. Though the original inquiry into the Keddie murders was sadly lacking, there's new hope that authorities today may be able to discover the truth once and for all. According to Greg Hagwood, the current sheriff, there are people locally who know more than they've said, and I believe we've identified some of them, and we know who they are, and we know where they are, and I have every confidence that they either participated after the fact or that they have first-hand information. It's obviously a worthwhile pursuit, he says. There's not an expiration date on homicides, and to the extent that we have surviving siblings and family members, it is our fundamental obligation to them to understand who did this and why.
Yeah.
So, case is still unsolved, but you would think, the way I'm picturing it, by the way, you can go to, I think it's cabin28.com or something like that. It's easy to find if you just Google search, but it's like a site dedicated to this investigation, and there's a bunch of pictures of the cabin and the resort. So this killing, they said there's blood splattered all over the cabin inside.
2 hammers.
How does no one hear anything?
Yeah, the boys. And how does the one boy see all this, but they don't see him?
Right.
They don't.
Yeah. Did they know that there were if it's somebody that knows the family?
Should know that there's more than just...
Or,
the boys did it.
Maybe they were very little.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really young.
They could all, dress up in a trench coat or something and... totally do it.
That's the perfect crime.
Yep.
So... One of the ways... Okay, so... a lot of the people think the 2008 movie The Strangers was based on these murders.
Oh, okay.
But no one involved in that movie has ever came out and said that.
But I remember when that movie came out, they said it was based on
true events.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of people think, because one of the leading theories is it was just a completely random act of violence. But I don't know.
To cover up a body doesn't seem like a random act.
Right.
I don't know.
And the way that as violent as it was. Yeah. So in 2017, however, a movie that was based on the murders called Cabin 28 that was released straight to video or Redbox or however that all works now. It has a score of 12% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
And I honestly don't even know how.
Is that out of 15%?
I don't know how it got 12%.
Is that how they rank those on that website? Is it
no, it's 100.
Oh,
yeah.
So 12 isn't a very good score then.
It's not, but to me, it's better than they deserve.
Yeah. Wow.
They shouldn't have got 12. Unlike the more well-known film, Cabin 28 does come right out and state that The Strangers was inspired by the real-life murders. Its tagline reads, "Based on the true-life murders that inspired The Strangers."
Hey, remember that movie, The Strangers?
Okay, so I watched this last night. I took the hit. I watched this movie. It's so fucking bad. So it begins with an illegal disclaimer that reads, "The following film is inspired by true events, which are a matter of public record. However, this is not a documentary. All events and persons depicted herein have been exaggerated for dramatic effect to create a fictitious work of entertainment. The story, all names, characters, and incidents portrayed in this production are entirely fictitious, and no identification with actual persons, living or deceased, places, buildings, and organizations is intended nor should be inferred. The movie uses all of the names of the people involved.
It's called Cabin 28.
The places it happened, the buildings involved, and the organizations involved. It's Sue, it's Tina, it's John, Dana, the Seabolts. It's the same sheriff's name.
But they put that disclaimer at the beginning.
Bo. The names are all there. It's Keddie, California. They didn't... You can't just say these are all made-up fictitious and they have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
And then use the exact same...
Well, that's just a coincidence.
They're definitely being honest, though, when they say that the persons depicted have been exaggerated, because the acting choices are so fucking weird. The accents people use and the way they deliver it, it's, just jarring. When you hear the way people talk, it's just... It takes you out of, even if you could somehow, I used to watch a shitload of bad horror movies. Uh-huh. It's how I spent a lot of nights. I worked at Hollywood Video. I would grab 6 or 7 horror movies that had went straight to video, and me and my buddy Dave would sit and watch them all night. You can enjoy a bad horror movie.
Sure.
The way the dialogue is, and the accents, you're just what the fuck is happening right now? It's hard to even stay invested in, the horror element of it. It shoehorns in as much info as possible from the actual case, but it doesn't even bother to try to get you to invest in anyone or anything happening.
Yeah.
But it's just hitting you over the head with
hammers.
Yes. In the movie, so they kind of explain how it's possible that Justin saw this and everything.
Yeah.
In the movie, the killers all wear... Because this movie has no creativity whatsoever.
They wear masks?
They wear big clown rubber masks.
Yeah.
Which makes it a lot more modern horror-ish.
Creepy, I guess.
The kid sees them, and they see the kid, and the one goes to go after the kid, and one of the other guy stops him. And then the guy that stopped the one just kind of wanders over to the kid and gets down on his knees in front of him and puts a finger to his lips, says shh.
Yeah.
And the kid runs off. So, it kind of, makes you think. But, so the movie basically says Martin and Bo did this.
Uh-huh.
But then there's like a third. There's a girl involved too that I think they're implying was Tina, or maybe I don't know what they're trying to imply.
Yeah,
but like
I watch it.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime right now, so yeah, everybody should watch it because it's like a bad movies. There's a lot of them, but even the song. Oh, well, the music throughout the movie is awful.
Yeah.
But the song at the end is particularly terrible. Like, the girl says, the singer, what word does she use? Like, restless. Like, I think it's restless.
Yeah.
But the way she sings it is like, she says rest less. Like, but it's restless.
Yeah.
But she says rest.
Like, I want to be
less.
busy. I want to rest less.
Yeah, but like a lot of space between the two.
Yeah.
But like the voices, like, or the accents they use, like Sue, the mom, the woman that's playing Sue, she like has this weird. I don't know where they think everybody.
Like,
I don't.
Yeah, she's from Connecticut and then moved to California. So
it's just so fucking weird. Like everyone should watch it just because it's so fucking
Cabin
bad.
28.
It's called Cabin 28.
I haven't seen the first 27 cabins. Will I be lost?
You would not. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening.
You wrote this episode, and you watched it, and you're still lost.
But just to watch the guy playing Martin alone is worth watching the movie for.
Yeah,
because he like delivers his lines like he's this squirrely looking guy with like a mustache and stuff. Like to me, he's a Daryl.
Yeah,
but they made him Martin in this.
Is Daryl in this movie?
No,
damn.
But I think they took Daryl and Martin and combined them into this guy. Because this guy's just squirrely as shit. But, like, he talks like he's, like, the sexiest human being alive.
Ugh.
Everybody watch it.
Right now.
But those are the Keddie Murders.
Cool. Not cool, but...
Just a random, seemingly active, like, extremely brutal violence.
It's just so crazy something like that could happen and no one gets caught.
And no one...
obviously, there's at least 28 cabins in this place.
Right, and I can't imagine, like, they're spaced out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they have to be, like, kind of close to each other.
Someone thought they heard muffled screams and...
But to be able to, like, how did they get Tina out of the house without her screaming?
Yeah.
Why do they take Tina?
Yeah.
Like, unless she's involved in it.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever reason.
The boys, they left the boys just...
Right. But, like, why didn't the boys try to, like... I mean, I guess they're terrified, so they're probably going to hide. If they even knew what was happening.
Yeah.
I mean...
It'd be hard to sleep through, I would imagine. Even with their mouths, stuffed with, tied up or whatever.
Yeah, there's no way people are getting into that cabin and, like, keeping the noise, like, keeping everybody from screaming.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to yell.
Yeah.
So... Like, so, yeah, there's going to be noise made.
All the blood there and everything. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so, yeah, pretty interesting. There's been, like, over the years, though, I mean, there's, like, even as of, 2018, they're still finding stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, I figure it's going to be, it's probably
They're probably taking a break right now on it.
Right.
Some other stuff going on.
I wonder how much, I wonder how much stuff is just, like, we can't really get to that right now. Like,
yeah. We're trying to test everything else.
But, yeah, I mean, I would say Martin and Bo did it.
Yeah, that's what
it sounds like to me.
Now, that would explain why they wouldn't hurt his son. If it
yeah.
I mean,
so,
would be...
Justin could have seen it was his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's fucking weird, though.
Damn.
But, so, yeah. You got anything?
I got some Would You Rathers.
All right.
I stole them offline.
Okay.
I think my brain's broke. I couldn't really think of any. So I just I Googled Would You Rathers, and I went to the... But I'd have to choose. These are deep Would You Rathers.
Oh, okay.
For your little brain. Okay, would you rather be feared by all or loved by all?
I'm going to go with feared by all. Like, fear or hated would be fine. It makes me... I was watching... I was talking to you about watching the ESPN 30 for 30s. Mm-hmm. And I watched the I Hate Christian Leitner.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That one. And... Like, when he was being booed by everybody in the... It made me think, like, to wrestle... Different times in wrestling, when, like... I was getting, like... legitimate crowds, the hate from the crowds, like there's no better feeling. And I don't know what that is, but I fucking love it. Like
people to react.
But it's like it's different than like people cheering for you.
Yeah.
For that you feel just like, all right, cool. But like for me anyways, that feeling of like an entire building full of people fucking hating you, but knowing like, but then having that chip on your shoulder where like you can't do anything about it.
Kind of how my comedy sets are.
Everyone
just hates me.
They hate you in a different way though. So yeah, I would go with fear.
All right, that's a good answer. I mean, there's only two. That was one of them. Would you rather sell all of your possessions or sell one of your organs? That's not that deep. Really?
I guess my possessions. Like my organs are struggling.
You got an organ behind you there.
Yeah, I do have a piano behind me.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think my organs.
How much you want for those?
I need all my organs. You have a competitor in Dustin now is. Dustin Alexander, he wants them bad now. Just from hearing you talk about how bad you want them,
he can come over and play with them.
He said he looked it up on eBay because he was like, oh, I was gonna buy them whenever he went and found them, and he's like, oh shit, because of how I don't know how much they are now, but
probably like $10. I'll give you 15.
I mean, I would think Dustin would, yeah. So I'll take 200.
Oh,
I don't know how much. I have no idea. They're probably only worth like 50.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So you would sell your possessions?
Yeah, because I mean, my organs are already struggling.
Yeah,
I can't be giving them away.
You need them.
I need my organs. Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather be infamous in history books or be forgotten after your death? That's a good one.
Oh.
That kind of goes back to being hated, though. Being infamous.
Part of me just says like to be forgotten, because whatever.
Yeah.
I'm dead. I don't. But then, I mean, like it depends on what you're infamous for, I guess.
Yeah.
What would you want to be known for, like, infamously?
Like, man, that guy was so.
I mean, like, do you want to be known like after you die? Like, what do you like? Okay, for infamous, like, you have to like kill somebody, commit some sort of crazy crime, just be a total piece of shit asshole.
Hitler,
or Hitler, or like I mean, it could be like Christian Leitner is known, like he'll be known forever by like.
Is Kobe infamous?
I mean,
he's famous.
It's funny how a lot of people used to talk about how they couldn't fucking stand Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
and then he dies, and everyone's like, "Oh, he was my favorite player."
I said both things while he was alive. I said I couldn't fucking stand him, but he was amazing, and he was a really good player.
Yeah,
and he was like the best.
I mean, other than what was it, 2000? What year was it when the Lakers beat the Celtics in the finals?
8.
Was it 2008? No, 2008. The Celtics won. I thought. Whatever. I remember watching Game 7 or the last game of the championship at B-Dubs.
Yeah.
And the Lakers beat the Celtics, and I was just like, "Fucking Kobe Bryant," but I loved him. Like, he's so fucking good. I love athletes that are. I just love people that are so fucking intense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did the thing today on Facebook of your top 5 favorite basketball players of all time.
Put together a team or whatever.
And other than Dan Marley, which I just fucking love Dan Marley.
Yeah,
but it was Reggie Miller, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, and Rondo.
I tried to make a list and I couldn't do it. I was like, man, it's too hard to choose just 5. I love so much about the NBA.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah,
and I didn't know how to spell Brian Scalabrine, so
Scalabrine, because he is probably my 6th man.
Yeah,
yeah.
He dances good at the
White
title.
Mamba?
He dances pretty good at the championship celebrations, the parades.
Dude, White Mamba is the shit. I love Brian Scalabrine.
Hey, that's why I was gonna name him.
Yeah, I saw maybe infamous.
Yeah.
For something?
I think I'd rather be infamous than be forgotten. I don't want to be forgotten.
Yeah, so we need to go rob some banks is what you're saying.
Let's go.
Now's a good time to do it. Now's a great time to do it. Everybody's busy with other shit.
Yeah, the coronavirus.
Man, the shelves are fucking not getting stocked at places like...
I went to Kroger today, yeah. There's some stuff was in, some stuff wasn't. The peanut butter aisle was very slim.
Yeah, I bought peanut butter bread today just in case.
Me too. pizza, peanut butter bread. I even got fruit on accident. I got apples and bananas. I was like, "What the fuck are these? I don't know what they are, but I'm gonna buy them." They might be like money in the future. You know, maybe that'll be like currency.
Toilet paper is definitely today's currency. Yeah. You still can't find that anywhere.
Well, actually, at Family Dollar, went ahead and bought. They had some there.
Oh,
Family
really?
Dollar on 7th Street. Yep.
Okay. Well, shit. Now that you've said that,
this is like 7 hours ago. So
right. Yeah.
Good luck.
I don't know. You think it's gonna get? You think everything's gonna get shut down?
I think it needs to.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already to that point. I say shut it down for 2 weeks, month.
Do something, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, literally.
I never thought any of this would happen in my lifetime.
All I've been thinking about is I wonder how close this. Like, I wonder how close what we're saying now as a general people.
Yeah.
Resembles like the reaction to like the Spanish flu, just the plague, like the Black Death.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder like what the conversation was like and if it resembles like where early on people were like, it's fucking just everybody just quit worrying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, what are your options? Like, either quit worrying or worry yourself into a panic and go buy all the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be that person that goes and has to have all the toilet paper.
Yeah, I just don't like the uncertainty.
Yeah,
like,
you're so
I wish
vulnerable.
it would just tip one way or the other.
Yeah.
Either everything's fine or, oh my God, it's complete fucking chaos.
And the people that I have to get my news from are just the absolute worst people in the history of... Like, Trump is... I cannot stand to listen to that guy talk. He puts himself over more than any wrestler I've ever watched in my life.
That fucking thing the other day, he's
like, I don't think that's ever happened. Whatever it is, he's like, I'm pretty sure it's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah,
like, he's just so proud of himself for these little fucking things.
Well, yesterday at the end of the little briefing they had, he went off like for 5 minutes about how he's not getting enough credit.
Yeah.
Like this, hey, dude, people are dying. This is some serious shit. People are out of work.
And he downplayed it at the beginning. Now, did you see what he did to the reporter? The reporter asked, like, what do you say to Americans that are scared
He lost
right
his
now?
shit on
Yeah,
the
he's
guy?
like, I'd say you're a bad reporter.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't answer the question. He's like, we're trying some stuff. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't.
And like Dr. Fauci, like the main guy that's like, he's like through the whole briefing, he's just like shaking his head. And he's just
he face bombed at one point.
Yeah. Because Donald Trump is a fucking moron.
He's a clown.
Like, all of you that voted for him, go somewhere else.
Yes.
Go live somewhere else.
I can't imagine we have a lot of our listeners vote for Trump.
Yeah, we don't.
And I don't really care if they do. I mean, I just don't like. I didn't like the guy before he ran for president.
That's what I've always been like. Did you guys like not know who he was before? Because he's always been a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
but the bad part is now that people are like, they just buy into it.
Oh man, it's crazy.
And like he's doing it. He's getting us out of this.
Yeah, like we shouldn't even be where we are now.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just like,
I mean, it came out where like 2 months ago they had a meeting and we're like warning people, sell your stocks because this shit's gonna get bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck.
Yeah,
that could be a whole other episode.
Dude,
man.
I fucking can't. Yeah, I
need to go get drunk.
I'm starting.
Yep.
Yeah. What did he say? Oh, then like he keeps saying how like they inherited. He's like, I inherited a broken system. There wasn't.
He got rid of everybody as soon as he became president.
Well, there wasn't a system to inherit.
Yeah.
We didn't have a system for this because it hadn't happened in so long.
But he
also shut off like funding to so many different organizations that handle this shit.
Yeah.
Like. You fucked the system up, buddy.
This is what happens when you let a 5-year-old run something.
Yeah,
the other 5-year-olds fucking love it. They're having the best time ever.
I really hope. My biggest hope when I first heard that he had shook hands with somebody that was possibly infected, I was like, please let this kill him.
Yes.
Please let this be how Donald Trump dies.
I think all of his tanning has he's
somehow disinfected him or whatever. But
germs won't even fuck with that guy. They're like, ugh, gross. He's too gross for germs.
Right. Yeah, I would love it if this was like, it took him, like, he's old. He's terribly out of shape.
Oh, the worst.
So.
It'll probably go the other way. Now he's going to be president for 12 years.
That's what I'm worried about is that he like somehow gets people to think that
there's like some loophole somewhere because of everything happening. He's like, oh, we're not gonna have an election this year.
Well, I keep hearing everybody, bring up the conspiracy theory about how this is all like a left-wing liberal thing to try to harm Trump.
Yeah.
But man, it makes more sense to look at it the other way.
Yeah.
That this is a way for Trump to declare martial law to really gain more control.
Yeah.
Because, in periods of, that kind of state of emergency, yeah, he could pretty much do some shit, whatever shit he wanted.
Yep.
So, yeah, it makes way more sense to look at it that if you're going to go conspiracy routes.
It's a lot of fun stuff.
It really makes you realize, though, how terrible we are as people.
We are.
Like...
Toilet paper. Go buy it.
Also just, like, all the people that are, like... Now there's an argument about, like, who should be getting money.
Yeah.
And, like, people like, well, if you didn't like Trump, you shouldn't take his money. Well, it's not his, first of all.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
I kind of pay taxes for the last 20-something years of my life.
Yeah.
20-some years of my life.
So, yeah, the world's chaos.
Yep.
But, hey, at least you weren't brutally slaughtered in some cabins in the 80s.
By 2 hammers.
By 2 hammers, a bunch of knives.
Yep. Medical tape.
BB gun. Yeah.
And made into a bad movie. What if that's your legacy, is to be made into a bad Amazon
I hope that's
Prime
not.
movie?
See, I don't want to be infamous that way. But, hey, so go check out Jerks.
Here's a transition.
Jerks, the band.
First day.
.bandcamp.com.
Yep.
Yeah, first day's the EP. I think you can get it for $5. Check it out on Spotify.
It's
Just
awesome.
check it out.
It's awesome.
It's really good.
You need it right now.
If you like Alkaline Trio, there's like a little bit of Saves the Day hinting or like sounds to it.
Yeah. Cool lyrics.
I can't even think of all like no use for a name.
Yeah.
Kind of resembles them.
Just that kind of, I don't want to call it pop punk, but just that kind of early punk.
Yeah, like the
emo punk kind. I don't know. I don't want to like say something that they don't agree with.
I hear a lot of like early-ish Alkaline Trio.
Yeah.
In it is what I hear.
I just hear good music, man.
It's really good though, so check it out.
Makes me happy to listen to.
This is episode 20. Please share. Do all the things that we always ask you to do. We should be on iTunes soon.
Ooh.
I'm waiting to get approved. I thought Anchor was just going to do that for us.
Yeah.
So I really didn't put forth much effort into it. But apparently not. So I signed up for it and all that shit. So we should be on iTunes soon. But we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Radio Cast.
Yep.
Pocket Cast. We're on all kinds of things.
I'm on drugs.
Joel's on drugs. I'm on the booze.
Yep. And Dustin, you are not going to get that Demolition 3-pack.
And whenever
Sorry, big dude.
Whenever Pro Wrestling Inception comes back, we're gonna have Joel versus Dustin.
Oh.
With the winner getting the Demolition 3-pack.
Oh man.
Dustin might die. Yeah. So until next time, guys. Thank you everybody for listening.
Thanks.
See you later. Go
Bye.
listen to the Jerks.
Bye.